All right. Oh, wrong screen. Can you see my screen? Sorry, I asked you all to mute and then ask you questions. Cool. Gonna hit present. Awesome. Welcome. Thanks all for joining me today, all of us. I know how precious time is, and I appreciate all of your time in being here. As you know, we're talking about Lumivitae, molecular hydrogen, and particularly our wonderful cell power bottle today. Oh, I can't see my thing properly. How do I make this little thing smaller? There we go. Gosh, that gets in the way. Now I have an understanding of some of the challenges you had, Raven. I can't see you all and see my screen at the same time. Cool. Well, I just wanted to start with some fun facts about hydrogen because I read this today last night and just thought, wow, that hydrogen is the most abundant, smallest, and lightest element in the universe, and it actually makes up 70% of the universe by mass and 90% of the universe by atoms, number of atoms, which is Dr. Michelle dropping amazing facts. And molecular hydrogen, put simply, is two bonded hydrogen atoms. It is neutral, it's colorless, odorless, non-toxic. I borrowed a bunch of slides from Dr. Michelle, our head of science and education, because I think she's amazing. And so some of this info is coming direct from her presentations. It's the smallest molecule in the universe, as I said, the most abundant and the smallest. And you can actually fit approximately 3 million hydrogen molecules across a width of a single strand of hair. That is how teeny weeny tiny it is. Yeah, I thought that was pretty epic. And it's because it is so small that makes it the most bioavailable molecule in existence. Gosh, I can't get this clicky thing right, can I? Because it's so small and neutral in charge, it has the fastest rate of diffusion into the body's cells. And there are no barriers in our body that molecular hydrogen can't penetrate, including the blood-brain barrier, which most antioxidants can't. And it can go where other vitamins and antioxidants cannot go. And it can even get into the nucleus and the mitochondria of our cells, which is pretty amazing. The mitochondria of our cells, I quite like the way that Dr. Michelle described this. They're like the energy factory or the engine of our cells, and she's compared them here to like wind turbines, that they're essential for the energy that we need in our day-to-day lives. And she's, imagine a mitochondria containing tiny little turbines that spin quickly and generate the energy. And the speed at which they spin determines how much energy we can create. And hydrogen acts like the wind that fuels the turbines, making them spin faster and more efficiently. And if there's not enough hydrogen, then the turbines slow down, which leads to less energy and greater risk of illness. Some of the scientifically proven benefits of molecular hydrogen, there are thousands of clinical studies that back this up, but that has selective antioxidant-like effects, anti-allergic effects, anti-inflammatory. It supports the immune system. I'm not going to go into reading all of these out. You can see them there. I'm just going to skim through. Anti-diabetic effects, reducing muscle fatigue. Sorry, I've got a dry throat. Reducing muscle fatigue after lots of exercise, anti-cancer effects, protects the mitochondria and increases mitochondria biogenesis, which is, as far as I understand, the cell's ability to regenerate itself. Put simply, molecular hydrogen is so small that it can penetrate all of the cells in our body. Supports our body's ability to detoxify and regenerate itself on a cellular level. And it has a sort of intelligence. One of the things that I am most fascinated about by molecular hydrogen in this journey that we're on is how different all the amazing impacts that it's having in different people's bodies. It's like it knows exactly where it needs to go in your body. And that is, I think, quite profound. As I said, there's over 2,000 independent clinical studies on the therapeutic benefits of molecular hydrogen. There's no shortage of science, and they've found that there's no negative side effects in the decades of studies. You can absorb hydrogen through your skin in baths, or breathe in hydrogen gas through inhalation and drink water or an IV drip. I know that it was used, I read that it was used in some hospitals in South Korea and Japan for some period of time, a long time, I think already, not sure how long, but and had some really amazing results. We're obviously talking about hydrogen water today because that's what we have access to. So our bodies on a molecular level are made up of 99% water. So for me, it makes perfect sense that the key to transforming our health is in the water that we drink. I want to introduce to you the inventor of this wonderful cell power bottle, Nuno Nina, who I had the pleasure of meeting in the Sunshine Coast a couple of months ago. He has such a beautiful, warm heart and energy, just to start with. I really was blown away by Nuno's energy. You could really feel his warmth, his integrity, and his passion to serve and to help heal people. And he had a lot of generosity, I would say, with his energy. He really shared his energy with so many people in a really authentic way. But he's an owner of an integrative medicine practice in Portugal. He's seen over 70,000 clients. He's been studying for 20 years, working with hydrogen, creating frequency technologies. And he was driven by, well, a passion for natural processes and being able to mimic what's in nature and try and get that into his healing. And also because he found that dehydration was an underlying issue in almost all the cases that he treated. And so Nuno in his clinic started to treat everybody with molecular hydrogen first and had really amazing results. What he saw was it was able to kind of help bring people to a baseline of wellness, or at least make the other treatments that he was using much more effective. For example, frequency healing technologies and or other supplements. He found that the use of the molecular hydrogen first and addressing dehydration was then he just saw people being able to heal a lot more effectively. And I'm going to share a bit about my experience with the amazing bottle. I started drinking molecular hydrogen water in January, beginning of January. And firstly, what I've noticed, and it's been consistent throughout, is that I feel hydrated for the first time in as long as I can remember, really. My wee's clearer. I get really clear messages from my body when I need water. And I have had IBS symptoms for a really long time, and I won't go too much into my poop story, but let's just say I went from a really drastically bad situation to seeing improvements in my poop in days. And it was not a good place that I was in. I don't know what had happened. I'd been to Africa and had got sick and had antibiotics and done a whole bunch of things, and I was not in a good way at all. And when I saw really drastic improvements in a few days of drinking the water, I was like, okay, this is really working. I've had more energy, I've felt less fatigue, my mental health has improved. I just have more capacity in general to deal with stress. I feel calmer. I have less pain and inflammation in my knee. I had a surgery a few years ago. I don't really need caffeine at all. When I drink caffeine, actually now I find I use the recovery frequency in my water to help bring me back down because I'm like on a level. I haven't been craving alcohol. I have actually stopped craving alcohol, which I don't even know where that came from, out of the blue. I drink still because I enjoy it, but on special social occasions. I haven't been drinking wine at home. I walk past the bottle shop without even glancing. And anyone who knows me really well knows that I am quite partial to drinking fairly often. So that was a really unexpected surprise. I don't need painkillers anymore when I actually am hungover because it hydrates me. My water's hydrating me. And recently, this is a personal share, but I'm going to share it because I think we need to let go of the stigma around sexuality and sexual health. I had pap smear last year and was diagnosed with having one of the strains of HPV virus, and I had a genital wart outbreak last year. And I treated it with pharmaceutical creams. It took 3 to 4 weeks for me to clear up a genital wart outbreak. And a couple of weeks ago, I noticed another wart pop up and was like, oh shit. And then immediately I just thought, I'm going to try and bathe it in hydrogen water and see what happens. So I did that twice a day, every day, and I'm not kidding, it was gone in 4 days compared to 3 to 4 weeks last year of putting cream on myself. So I was extremely happy about that. I'm going to start using it more topically more often. And now, if I know that you have to go, Sammy, so I'd love if you're happy to jump on and share your testimonial, and then Raven before we move on.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. I feel like I can go tick, tick, tick to a few of the ones that you've listed here because better sleep, more energy, less fatigue, mentally sharp. Like I'm so busy with I've launched my own business recently in the last year and have less time for Lumivite than I was hoping only currently, just for the time being. I'm just gonna get there, get through it. But I've had a couple of really big ones. So the first one is complete reversal of allergies. So I've never had any allergies in my life until about January last year, so 2023. And they became, before I got the bottle, and I've only had the bottle since March the 4th. I just looked at the date in my diary. They became so bad that I was taking about 3 or 4 anti things. What are they called? Histamines. Yeah, every day. With like loads of sneezing fits, always stuffy, always feeling like I've got like a fur-lined throat and coughing and horrible. I tried to blame the dogs that we have, but I actually don't know what it is. I went and got a skin prick test thing done and they said it was grass. Now, I don't know whether something changes in your physiology as you get older. I know that my dad never suffered from hay fever until he was like 45. So maybe it's like a change physiologically that we go through. But my allergies are gone, like gone. I don't take antihistamines. I haven't taken an antihistamine for about 3 weeks. So that's crazy. And then the crazier thing is that this hair that you see is not dyed. It's like I've had a tough life, tough paper round. But I've been drinking the water for 2 months, 2 months, March, April, May, 2 months. I'm growing back black hair, which has just, I sent Nina a really ugly magnified photograph. You can share that if you want to. I don't care. But like there's tiny, tiny hairs coming up all over, this is like white. It's not blonde. I haven't dyed it. It's naturally white. And I'm getting black hair growing through, which is just like mental. So yeah, that's my testimonial.
Amazing. Wow. It's epic. Thank you for sharing, darling.
You're welcome.
I'll let you go, Raven.
Thanks, Nina. Wow, Sammy, that is mind-blowing. All of it.
I want to keep my white hair. I don't want it to grow back dark.
I was
I
wondering
hear you,
that.
but just, yeah,
I've got this white witch persona now. I don't want to give that up. Anyway, I'll let you go.
yeah, it is a beautiful color. The pure white is gorgeous, isn't it? Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I can also tick quite a few things on Nina's list. You know, I feel like my hormones balanced and but I'm older than Nina. Like I've experienced some senior moments. Just only recently, maybe in the last year, and not since I've been drinking the water. And it's interesting how, you know, it does, like Nina was saying, it affects each one of us so differently. And for me, it affected my brain right away. Like the senior moments, I don't think I've had one since day one. The brain fog just lifts immediately, which is absolutely thrilling for, well, it's thrilling for anyone, but when you're older, it's extra thrilling because we think that it's this, it's something that happens with age, and I don't think it's age. I think it's toxicity. So, and sleeping much better, able to go to sleep more easily and just sleep through the night instead of the tossing and turning. And I had been experiencing some, not just sleepless nights, but series of sleepless nights where the sun would come up and it was just horrifying that I hadn't slept at all. That hasn't happened since I've been drinking water. But to talk about that, there's two things that really have been life-changing for me. One is my knees. I've had really bad knees for the last 19 years. So bad that long sets of stairs are horrifying. And when I approach stairs, the first thing I do is I reach for a handrail. And it's so intense, the fear and the pain and the lack of reliability of my knees, that I developed new neural pathways that say, as I'm approaching the stairs, they say, where's the handrail? So I have this whole new brain function, you know, neural pathway. Where's the handrail? And if there wasn't one, it was horrifying. Even a few stairs, but if it was long stairs, it was scary as. Well, my knees are so much better in climbing up, but also but mostly it's the coming down. The coming down was always the worst part. But it's changed so much so that my neural pathways have also changed. Like I no longer even look for a handrail. And I have daughters who've witnessed this. And when I visited them for 3 days recently, and they have this horrifying descent of 21 stairs down from their apartment to the floor. When they watched me descend repeatedly those steps without even looking for the handrail, they started saying, okay, Mom, we're impressed with your knees. So I had my knees are like brand new. They're not 100%, but I'd say they're about 90% recovered, which is massive, and it's life changing. It is really life altering. It might not be life saving for me. I didn't have an issue like that, but it's totally changed my life. And then the other thing is I had vertigo. And I had also had it for so long that I had created new neural pathways that were like, Raven, turn really slowly. Because if I turn fast, I would lose my balance. And it would be, you know, embarrassing, or, you know, I could hurt myself. But guess what? Again, my body got so used to the change. I don't have vertigo anymore. And so, but it's so dependable that the neural pathways have also changed. So now I can spin if I choose. So good knees and spinning, that's a really good thing when you want to be a grandma. And the last thing that I want to share with you, there's so many things. The last thing I really think is significant that I'd like to share is that that I wasn't looking for, and I don't know if I've heard anybody else give a testimonial on this. I had been drinking, how long have I been drinking let's see, Jennifer, no. I'd say 5 months, it was maybe 4 months. I'd been drinking the water when I realized my night vision had come back. I've been wearing glasses for driving since my mid-20s, and I'm 61. And so for 35 years, I've been wearing corrective lenses at night. Otherwise, all the lights are like big halos. Instead of being a light this big, it's a light this big. And when you have, dozens of lights, it's impossible to negotiate. So guess what? All those halos went away, and now I just see individual lights, and I can drive at night without my glasses. I still wear them at the computer because we all know about blue light and computers and how difficult that is. But yeah, I've had a combination of all sorts of benefits that have really changed my life. It's a lot. It's wonderful. Thanks, Nina.
Amazing. I love hearing all the stories. There's so many, they're so diverse. Oh, sorry, my phone's making noises at me. Cool. Yes. Well, there's heaps. There's some more there listed that you may have been reading while the girls were sharing. Some things that I found really amazing was another woman in our team who had Dupuytren's contracture, and she has had an incredible healing story with her hands, and her husband who had a heart bypass, having more energy than he's had in years. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about some of the results that people have been having. And I'm actually just going to flick back a slide because I wanted to just show quickly these screenshots from a live blood analysis call that Raven and I both and some others might have attended live in January, I think it was. And it was just mind-blowing to see what's happening to our blood through a microscope after drinking the water. This picture on the left was chronic inflammation, dehydration, all the cells stuck together sluggishly trying to move around, and they gave this person, I think, 3 bottles of the Lumivite water and then took this slide capture, which was moving around fast and beautiful, and there was light and clarity. And this, you can see they've got the white blood cells, the red blood cells and the white blood cells, and in both there's just so much more definition. And a couple of people in our team have actually done this themselves as well, before and after their Lumivite journey, and the results were just as mind-blowing. So it's pretty phenomenal when you can see what's happening under a microscope in your blood. I think about it often when I'm drinking the water and like, oh, what's happening to my blood, and get a bit excited about my cells getting some more vibrancy in them. Cool. And, we're talking a bit about why do we think we're having such profound impacts? Well, firstly, if the world has been chronically dehydrated, which has been, I've been hearing this from Nuno, from Dr. Tony Dick, who did the live blood analysis, from all of these different clinicians and health practitioners that have been talking about seeing dehydration as a chronic and an epidemic essentially around the world, and molecular hydrogen is helping to address that. So I think that is fundamentally one of the big reasons why we're seeing such amazing results. And also because our bodies are so overexposed to chemicals and toxins in our society, and now if we have something that's able to support our cells to detoxify and regenerate, it makes sense that we're seeing some pretty profound and miraculous, heaps of stories that are actually miraculous. You just heard a couple then, I feel are quite miraculous. It also reduces inflammation and oxidative stress in the body, which are both fundamental aspects of illness and disease. Yeah, with the help of the molecular hydrogen, we can tend to our terrain. I like this saying that I've been hearing in lots of the educational journeys. It makes so much sense. Tend to the terrain, and then our bodies have quite an amazing capacity to detoxify and self-repair. What better way to tend to the terrain than with water if 99% of our molecules are made of water? So whilst molecular hydrogen is pretty new to the wider world, it's been known for a long time, decades, by scientists and researchers, that it would be the next big thing in health and wellness. It's taken a long time to come into the public awareness. And the reasons for this is that, well, there's no patenting it. So big pharma can't take control. So, they have a lot of power in this world. We know that. And someone had to work out how to make it cleanly and how to contain it, which our wonderful Nuno did just that. And it's wonderful. I like to call it my magic water bottle. Others like to call it a vitality vessel, whatever floats your boat. But I know that Nuno was, as I said before, he's really inspired by nature and natural processes. And unfortunately, the waters that we have access to these days are not like they used to be. Even, lots of natural creeks and waterways are still unfortunately polluted. So we don't have access to the same amazing water that we used to. So his vision was really to do his best to help bring water back into people's lives and their bodies that is more hydrogen rich and natural, and using technology to do so. Sometimes we need that in this crazy world that we live in. So I don't know if everybody in this call has a bottle yet, but no, amazing. Waiting on that. Cool. How is molecular hydrogen created? Well, in the base of the bottle, there is an electrolysis process, which is a low voltage electrical charge that actually separates the water into its elemental components, and the PEM membrane separates the hydrogen and the oxygen atoms and enables the hydrogen gas, which is molecular hydrogen, to be dissolved in the water. And electrolysis is a really dirty process. So I know, like, if it's been, your experience has been like mine, since I started to talk about hydrogen water, I get ads all over my Facebook feed, Temu this, $30 hydrogen this, like, so there's a lot out there now. And it's a little alarming because it is actually a really dirty process, electrolysis, and without doing it in the right way with the right materials, it ends up being toxic for our bodies. I will explain that a little further, but basically in the base is where the electrolysis happens, and the rich hydrogen water is contained in the center bit, which is made from Triton, which is medical grade plastic. It's not glass. Glass is not as durable, and or it can't contain it as well, and it also, there's a risk that it could break or explode because it's under pressure. So lost my train of thought there. I love the chromotherapy option. I think it's really beautiful. It's, a lot of people see it in different ways. Some people really identify strongly with the colors having a really big different impact on the water. I just pick the colors that I like, and sometimes, yeah, it's an energetic thing. It's definitely calming and soothing for me. I really enjoy putting my bottle on at night and in the morning and watching the bubbles and the colors. It's like a sensory experience and very calming. I'll go through the frequencies in the lid in the next slides. We'll tick along because we're going further into depth here. The electrolysis is created with an anode and a cathode, which are platinum or titanium coated in platinum. I think I just heard Carrie say today on a call. They are the highest quality materials on the market that can be used to create the electrodes. And a PEM membrane is really important. A proton exchange membrane is what filters out all of the impurities and anything harmful, all the harmful byproducts. And Nuno actually created his own PEM membrane because the best one on the market, the DuPont membrane, he had trialed it and it still allowed some impurities into the water. And this has been tested countless times. It was tested on the Flow Summit. I know other people within the community who've tested it themselves and compared it with other bottles that were even mid-range, not so cheap bottles. And they were had impurities in the bottle. The really cheap ones, you're going to end up with chloride, heavy metals, and no molecular hydrogen, really, honestly. So, you know, I think that I like to pay for quality myself anyway. So I'm always happy to have the things that work the best. And in terms of my health, it's really, really important to me. He's also created this magnetic ring in the base that mimics the Earth magnetic field, which helps to structure the water. And also because he wanted to create, as I said, like things that mimic nature. So it's, you know, got the Earth, the magnetic rings of the Earth in the base, and in the top, the frequency of the sun, which I'll get to in a moment. So in the lid, there's frequency technology that has 3 different frequencies that help to infuse the water with different energies and wavelengths. There's an energy frequency, a recovery frequency, and the LumiVitae, which is the sunlight frequency. And whilst I don't fully understand this technology, I can say very confidently that I have absolutely noticed a difference. There's been times when I thought my lid had broken recently, but it turns out it hadn't. I just wasn't charging it properly or something. And so I didn't have frequencies for a while, and it's very different. And I in the morning I'll have the LumiVitae or the energy frequency, and absolutely it gives me a boost. And sometimes it's like, because I'm really sensitive to caffeine, I find I'm actually also really quite sensitive to the energy and the LumiVitae frequencies, and I've got to balance them out and use the recovery to help bring me back down. But yeah, I feel it. Can't explain it, but I feel it. And yes, the LumiVitae frequency. And now I just want to share a bit about the company and our leaders. I know that some people just want to purchase a bottle and that's it, and others are really interested potentially in the opportunity that comes with this amazing company. And I really love this graphic. Thanks, Dr. Michelle. What a rock star. So Taryn Lee is our CEO and visionary. She is an Australian woman. She is an entrepreneur. She helped launch the Healy frequency technology in Australia. She is a absolute powerhouse. She just seems to never stop. She's got so much passion and vision, and she's really led by a core value of freedom. And the way she describes this is she's passionate about freedom in every sense, freedom in health, freedom in financially, and she is really, really passionate about more wealth being in the hands of many, and people also having access to technology that can enhance their day-to-day experience of life through healing. And another thing about Taryn is she really, she sees everything in the big picture. I really love that. She's got such a big vision, and you can really feel that. One thing that I'm really love and appreciate about this company is that education is at the forefront. They are really passionate about real science, real education. The majority of the leaders are natural health practitioners, studied biomedical science, and losing my train of thought again. Anyway, super passionate about real education. And that's what I was going to say. They're in the process now of creating a like we've got access to so much educational resources in this company all the time. And I will introduce these people in a moment. But at the moment, like, even though we've already got all these resources, they're still working at creating a end-to-end training program for us all that's can be simple to use to help educate us all. And I find that really amazing. Dr. Michelle is the head of our science and education team. She is a Chinese medicine, a doctor of Chinese medicine. She teaches biomedical science at universities like Cambridge University, and she is also a really amazing self-mastery coach and super passionate about human physiology and health. And she is so generous with her time and energy, and is sharing resources with us left, right, and center. And yeah, it's really amazing. She's leading a free hydration masterclass next week for anyone who's interested to go, Hydration 101. And Carrie, she is a regenerative health practitioner and a naturopath, and she's just incredible. She's got an amazing way of presenting information in a way that we can understand, even though she's talking about really complex biological processes and science. And she is also really passionate about freedom in terms of health and wealth as well. And I really get a lot out of her energy in the company in so many ways. I just was on one of her team calls today that was so inspiring. And she's also really a grounded woman who says that drops an F-bomb here and there, and I quite appreciate that. And Dr. Tyler is the executive director and founder of the Molecular Hydrogen Institute. Now he's teaming up with Lumivitae. His institute is, because not in a financially affiliated way. He is doing it because he is super passionate. He's been studying molecular hydrogen for a long time, I think about 15 years. And he can see how much Lumivitae values education and is putting it at the forefront. And he can also see that Nuno has created a device that can safely help bring molecular hydrogen to the masses. So he's joined these incredible women and is been over in Portugal recently helping record lots of our educational resources. And it also gives me a lot of, it just adds to how much faith I have in this company, because someone like him would not be aligning himself with a company that wasn't doing things right and well. His reputation would not allow that. And beautiful Regan Hillier, I'm sad that I missed her call this morning. She is one of the co-founders, and she's known as the Queen of Manifestation. She is pretty amazing. Her story is amazing. And, you know, whilst I don't really care for millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, I think wealth is amazing, and I want to bring more of it into my life. And what she can teach us about tapping into that energy and is amazing. And what I think is incredible is that by being a part of this company, we get all of access to all of this just by being here. And you could pay thousands of dollars to be coached by this woman, and we get it because we're a part of this amazing company. And I appreciate that, because I've been on a journey of breaking free from my limiting beliefs for a long time, and anything that helps me on that path, I'm all for it. And again, she wouldn't be aligning herself. She's one of the co-founders. It's a testament to the integrity of the company that someone like Regan would be putting her name and her face to it. And one thing that I'm super excited about, along with the amazing healing that I've been having from this bottle, is that this company is still in pre-launch. And I joined at the beginning of December. We're still at the ground floor, and molecular hydrogen is only just hitting the market. It is an opportunity of a lifetime for me to be able to partner with this company. We've got the highest quality molecular hydrogen product available, incredibly integrous leaders, They've got amazing planet hearing and humanity healing big pictures. Really feel that in, you know, go along to the calls as much as you can. I just, honestly, these people are incredible. I get gems of wisdom and I feel so inspired all the time by, and mostly women, which, you know, I love. The real education is the #1 priority. There's so much, like I said, coaching and training available, and they're really incredibly passionate about freedom and true wealth sharing. And we haven't even launched yet. This is about where we are. Taryn drew up this little graph and I stole it from her slides. We're launching on the 7th of July. So we're around about here. Molecular hydrogen is the next billion-dollar gem in the wellness industry. And this company is well and truly on the trajectory to be a billion-dollar company. This here, you'll notice from the launch phase for 2 years, they're expecting massive growth. 2 years where we have the opportunity to be a part of that epic growth. Before it stabilizes, they predict that molecular hydrogen will be fairly stably part of the market by about 2027. Since November 7, when they started the pre-launch, there's 6,000 affiliates joined, and by the end of the year, they're predicting 35 to 50,000 affiliates. And there has been approximately $4.5 million in sales in the last about 6 months. And they've sold out of bottles in March. They thought they had made enough to make it through, but turns out it was even more popular than they anticipated, which it just shows the trajectory that this company is on. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm so grateful. When I found out about this company, I watched a 2-hour pre-launch webinar. 2 hours. Took me a while to get there, but I just had full body tingles. There was a huge yes inside me. And the more I learn about it, the more I am confident in this as being a very epic opportunity for me in terms of all the parts of my growth. And they have a really generous compensation plan. I'm not going to go into that, but the more that I learn about it and the more I dive into it, the more generous I realize that is. And for me, thinking about wealth, it's nothing about my vision with wealth is about me or a selfish or individualistic kind of thing. I go into the big picture. What I'm excited about is that I am going to be able to have such an incredible impact in this world and in my communities. My communities stretch across Australia. They stretch to beautiful parts of Africa where I'm very closely connected to. And I've had big dreams and visions for a very, very long time. And what I love is that so many, I haven't met anyone through this company that doesn't have really beautiful visions for planet and humanity healing things. So I think the more money that can be in the hands of conscious people is a fantastic thing. I'm going to share my why a little bit with you. And I encourage you to think about what your why would be in terms of attracting financial abundance into your life. I won't go, it's big and huge, but I feel really motivated by amazing projects in terms of social justice and environmental justice. I have got really strong connections with Africa, and for a long time I've been dreaming about this amazing machines that I could ship on a shipping container to Africa that makes building materials out of plastic, and growing permaculture gardens in my community where my partner's family live in Malawi, and working with community there to help really support. The world is not fair. We all know this. It's extremely unfair. And if we can share some of that with, and I get emotional when I talk about this because it's I'm really passionate. So that's what motivates me every day to show up, to build a beautiful home in Nimboida, to help regenerate the earth and support humanity. I'm not supposed to show you that. And this one, well, I'm just going to share before we finish up that we actually have a prize going at the moment for anyone who is sitting on the fence and thinking, do I want to get myself one of these bottles or not? That if you decide to buy a bottle between now and the 29th of May, Dr. Michelle, who has announced a prize draw that you and the person you buy the bottle from goes in the draw to win $1,000 US each. So $2,000 in total US dollars. So if there's ever a good time to get in and buy one, it is now. Go in the draw, and you also get free access to Dr. Michelle's next training program called DRIP, where she's going to be sharing a whole bunch of really amazing information. I don't think it's all just about science. I think it's a whole lot of things. She's a self-mastery coach, and she's a multi-talented woman. Yeah. So go back to the person who shared this call with you. We have a Facebook group, the Lumi Vitae, the Global Wave, for anyone who's interested. And yeah, encourage you to join that. And if anyone's got any questions, now is your moment. Thanks for listening.
Well done, Lynn. That was
Thanks, love.
amazing.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions, but I would like to share a little testimonial that I have, if there's time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I started drinking my bottle on Valentine's Day. I had got it for my birthday at the beginning of February, and it arrived on Valentine's Day, which was absolutely lovely and beautiful. And I think the first thing that showed up for me after starting drinking the magic water was my digestive system. So I've always had trouble with food just moving through my digestive system. I find that it just was taking too long to go from top to bottom, and quite often hours later I could do a burp and I could still feel food quite high in my system, so it just wasn't moving through. So I don't know how that's balanced out my stomach acids or what that's done in my digestive system, but it seems to have sorted that out. I haven't had any issues with that since. And it was almost a daily thing that was happening to me. And especially if I ate something late at night, I could even wake up in the night time burping and feeling like I've got something really high in my like esophagus. So that was really amazing, because it's been happening for quite a few years. And also my son was in a car accident, and he had to get some stitches. And when I went to see him, I was giving him liters of the water to have, and during the night as well, when I wasn't able to be there with him, I was leaving him liters of the hydrogenated water. But also getting him to put it on his stitches that he had. So just to have the final rinse, to have that being the last water going on. And it wasn't until the scabs came off and he got the stitches removed that it was almost like you could hardly see a scar even there. It was absolutely, that blew me away, to see how, like visually, how healing that was. Yeah, for something that I would have thought would have left quite a mark, had cleared it up. I don't know, sometimes scarring can be a little pink or a different colour. It was sort of the same colour. It looked very smooth. The scarring wasn't built up like scar tissue, bumpy or anything. It looked,
Amazing.
it was incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah. I just wanted to share a couple of things that I
Love that. Thank
like
you.
you said, it's a little bit different for everybody. So
It is.
yeah, which is incredible in itself that it's the way that it targets things is
It's
pretty
pretty
mind
mind-blowing,
blowing.
really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Amazing. I can see a question in the chat there from Julia. Yes, I do. I always call it my magic water. Actually, my uncle was visiting from the Netherlands recently, and he kept saying, "Have you magicalized that water yet, Nina?" He put a comment when I shared this on Facebook. He said, "Make sure you magicalize your water first before you jump on." He's actually my auntie bought one, so they're about to have their own magical water in the house. In terms of the Healy, I would say reach out to the person who sold it to you. Did they give you information to register? I only know a little bit about it because my auntie recently gave me one, and she's going to try and help me set it up, but I don't really know what that looks like. I would ask them. I think that that's something that they should hopefully help you with. I have heard that people that have been using the Healy and the hydrogen water have noticed that they've had even more amazing benefits from the Healy. I haven't had a chance to use mine yet because we're still getting it set up. But does anyone else have? Was that a question? No. No questions. Amazing. It's wonderful. I think it's really quite incredible that even with the questions, it's in an hour. A little on me over here. I was like, woohoo! How did I
You've done it well.
And thank you. That was my first sharing presentation, and I appreciate all of your wonderful support.
Nina, did you say you?
Thank you.
Thank you. No worries, Cherie.
Sorry, Nina, did you say that you did you mention you were recording?
Yeah, I hope I did.
Yeah. So just
yes,
saying
I
that
am recording.
didn't see my sister come on, so if that's available that I can send to her for a rewatch. And Renee was having trouble connecting too.
Yeah,
so.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll go to Raven because it's her Zoom account, and we'll get the recording out to everybody. I know Jo as well wanted to join, and she asked for a recording, so we'll share it with everybody.
Excellent.
All
right, thank you. I'm going to